Okay. Now that that's out of the way, we have the rest of the second gen. So I noticed I clustered them together. So these are, you notice these are the three second gen antipsychotics that have a higher incidence of EPS, prolactin elevation. So this is probably the closest you can get to grouping. So you can like group these together because their properties are pretty similar. Okay, and again you can remember Risperidone came from Paliperidone. It was derived from it actually. So potent dito antagonist. So yeah, higher EPS, higher prolactin. It's like in the middle ground of first and second gen. So it has the EPS, it has the hyperprolactinemia. It also has a bit of the metabolic syndrome. So it's really like a very middle ground for starters. And of course, it's I guess call it its child because it's the metabolite. Paliperidone is just basically 9-hydroxyrisperidone. So like I said, the oral tablet, it's super financially toxic. So there is no reason. There's almost always no reason to choose paliperidone over risperidone. Almost always no reason. The depot injection, again, you have fluphenazine. So, okay. Yeah. Another memory aid. This one, my parents were looking at me weirdly because I was setting up in the dinner table. I asked them, do we have a pear in the fridge? So I took like the, like the rice at the end of the day, like leftover rice, like I need the rice, I need a pear, and I have a Munchlax. Like, what am I doing? I thought Risperidone, rice, pear, Don as in Donbori, Japanese rice, basically the Japanese equivalent for rice meals, Donbori. So Don, rice. So rice, pear, Don. When you think Risperidone, think rice. It's like you eat too much rice, it might lead to blood sugar complications down the line because carbs, right? So, metabolic. Some metabolic, again, not as risky as, say, olanzapine, but, there's still a risk. That's rice. What happens when you eat too much rice? We end up with man boobs, gynecomastia. So, elevated prolactin. And, of course, throw in the EPS there. So, EPS, hyperprolactinemia. The pear, yeah, think about it also with the metabolic. So, eating too much sugary stuff. So, metabolic, rice, metabolic. And then, eat too much of that. Man boobs, gynecomastia, hyperprolactinemia. Then throw in the EPS. Okay, so again, that's just another way to get creative. If you have any more memory aids, then throw them down in the comments below. We'll see if it'll work. Perhaps you could feature them in future updates. Yeah. A summary of the side effect profile. So again, I won't go through it since we've been going through it all throughout the video anymore. You can just review this in the handout. If you're curious, you can match it up with the receptor binding affinities of the individual drugs in stalls. You can check it out, and you can link them to their side effect profiles. It'll make a bit more sense. Okay. Abacripazole, yeah, it's there. Yeah, relatively similar to Arip. It's pretty safe metabolic-wise, but again, like oral paliperidone, this is just so expensive that at this point, the cost is not justified. It's not justified. Yeah. Especially a lot of Filipinos to be out of pocket.